He must have ended his stream, right? He must have ended his stream and then decided to go stream.
Hello everyone, and welcome to part 3, the final part of the Law Basics Guide. You might notice in the background that there is no character footage this time around. I figured I would take the opportunity to 1. Show you my ugly mug, since I don't usually use the camera in my editing for the guide videos, and 2, to promote the stream a little bit. With the virus having everybody cooped up, I actually find myself with a little extra time, so I should be streaming more here over the next month or 2, or however long this thing lasts. We had a fun time on Monday and got a big generous host from Avoiding the Puddle, and we tend to have a good time in general, so check out the link in the description below. Otherwise, like the other guide videos, we'll be going over common punishers and basic juggles. Don't be surprised if the DSS juggles seem hard. Again, part of the barrier to entry for Law is getting those DSS cancels down, but if you need to, he does have a few filler strings that you can use until you get comfortable with the DSS stuff. And then lastly, we'll show some high-level players you can watch for ideas and such. So enough chat, let's get to it. So before we talk about players and resources, one thing I forgot to mention is that if you're practicing your DSS cancels, particularly while standing forward to DSS, the frame data tool can be really helpful here. You might have noticed this on the last video, but when you do the cancel, it will show you how much frame advantage you have after the cancel. You can use this as an indicator of how fast you're doing the cancel. I'm not the most consistent myself, so you'll notice that I get a different number every time. I believe the most that you can get is plus 19, but in either case, this is helpful because if we look at counter hit while standing forward to DSS 3+4, if that number shows at least plus 15, then you know that you did the cancel fast enough, but not the 3+4 in time. So it can provide you with some helpful guidance on your timing if you look at it that way. Note that you'll see the same plus frames whether while standing forward hits normal or counter hit, but you can only get free hits off counter hit. The move is designed that way so that your opponent can still block a follow-up if it's just a normal hit. Okay, so with that out of the way, who are some good people to watch? So first, note that links to anything I'm about to show you is in the description below, so definitely check that out. And I've also included them in the written version of this guide, so for those of you that use that guide, if you save that, these are going to be in there too. But first, we're going to take a look at Doubles. So he's a Japanese player who had a very, very good year last year. Most people consider him to be the current best law player in the world. His DSS and move sequencing is very crisp. So if you're looking for that ideal law, he's going to be your guy. I'm not aware of any streaming from him, but he does have a Twitter, which you can see on the screen here. Easiest way to find his matches, though, is to just go to YouTube, which I already have pulled up here. Just type in double law Tekken, and it should bring tons of stuff up for you. Another person that you can look at, though, who does stream regularly is Justframejames. So he's a US player, widely known for having really good execution alongside an unorthodox and at times crazy play style. He plays other characters beyond Law, but he still does play Law frequently. So you can, of course, check him out. And again, here's his Twitch, so just Justframejames. And then you can, if you want to, of course, go on YouTube and type in his name. I'm sure a bunch will come up. And then the last person I will recommend is Lowhigh. So Lowhigh is known for other characters mostly, I think. So for instance, Shaheen. But Lowhigh is one of the best players in the world, just in general. So, and he's played Law in tournaments in the past. He also streams fairly regularly as well. So he's got a Twitch stream, which you can see here. Note that it says Lowhigh 92. But for both him and Justframes, you know, even if they don't happen to play Law on their stream, you can always find their matches on YouTube. But, you know, they're just good players to watch. But if you want to focus in on just the Law matches, you know, YouTube might be your best bet. Now, there are, of course, other Laws out there. One that immediately comes to mind that I know a lot of people talk about is Malgu. But you don't see him a ton at tournaments, it doesn't seem. You know, these are the three prominent names to get you started. And I tried to, you know, get kind of the whole spectrum there. But obviously search around yourself and see if you can't find other players that you like in matches that are helpful to you. So that concludes our Law Basics guide. Thankfully, there were no changes to Law in the recent DLC, so nothing we have to go over there. Of course, if anything does change in the future, I will make a small addendum video to discuss those changes. But what can we say about Law? Ultimately, most people consider him one of the best characters in the game, but it really boils down to how good and consistent you are with your DSS cancels, since all of his optimal stuff requires that. But he's still got extremely good tools beyond that. He's a really good Punisher. He's just a fast character overall. He can play extremely safe. He's got good damage, especially when you pair that with his overall safety. He's just got, you know, about everything you could possibly want a character to have. And he can be really fun once you get the hang of everything, and particularly when you start sprinkling the shenanigans in. He takes a lot of practice and dedication though, so of course there is always going to be that barrier. But otherwise, that's all I have. So time to chill for a minute. Be sure to hit subscribe so you are notified when we release new vids. I'm also trying to stream more right now, as I mentioned before, as coronavirus has me locked up and actually has more free time for me thanks to a bunch of stuff being canceled and what have you. So links to, you know, all that, as well as Facebook, Twitter, etc., are down below. And then of course the push is always Patreon. It's one of, if not the best way to support indie creators, so we ask that you consider becoming a supporter through Patreon. And by the way, if there are perks that you would like to see that might entice you to support through Patreon, just let me know with a comment and we can definitely look into it. So that's it. That's all I got. I hope you enjoyed the video. I appreciate you all. So stay safe, wash your hands, and keep your distance from people. We'll see you later.